What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we are going to be bantering about the state of the 2023 Baltimore Orioles. Now, before I get into it, we have a corresponding article up on laracuenteledger.com that details everything that we're going to be breaking down in this video. So make sure you check that out. Links are down in the show notes below. Now, for the Orioles, we begin with the major acquisition. Now, when it comes to the major acquisition for the Baltimore Orioles, Kyle Gibson is that guy. This is going to be a player and a pitcher that jumps right into that starting rotation. I think that he's likely going to find himself giving the O's the start on opening day. I do believe that they're going to rely on his veteran leadership to kind of help round out some of the younger starters in that lineup and some of the younger pitchers on that pitching staff. I think that for Gibson, this is a good move. Baltimore has kind of rearranged the field to give it a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly feel in that ballpark, in that beautiful park in Camden Yards in Baltimore. And I think that for the Orioles, this is a solid signing because I do think that he is going to be able to bring some veteran leadership, some postseason experience to a very young ball club. Now, as we look at these significant injuries, John Means is the recovering ace for the Baltimore Orioles. Means had Tommy John surgery, so he's likely not going to be around for quite a bit of time for the Orioles. Now, that being said, when he returns, we're going to have to obviously give it some time to see how he progresses, how he gets back to the mound. But I think that for Baltimore, this is the guy that you're really building your rotation around. Yes, 2023 is going to be a bit more difficult of a transition as he is still recovering from Tommy John surgery. But in the long run, this is going to be the guy that you really want as the ace of your staff. I think that for Baltimore, there is an opportunity that they can really start to put the pieces together if they can hold on to some semblance of competitiveness, get him back in late July and August, and that could be a real infusion of a great starting pitcher to that rotation for a postseason push. I think that Baltimore is really going to surprise some people this season, and with that, John Means is going to be an important player to that. Now, as we look at the top prospect, Gunnar Henderson is that player. This third base shortstop prospect is really going to be an important and critical piece for the Baltimore Orioles in 2023. I think that this is going to be the rookie of the year in the American League, and I do believe that there's going to be an opportunity for this player to really put on the show in 2023. I think that for Baltimore, it is going to be that infusion of young talent, guys like Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, that are really going to push this team to the next level in 2023. Now, as we get into the bold prediction, I believe that the Orioles will make the postseason. I think that Baltimore is going to find itself in the wild card hunt and winning one of those wild card spots. I think that there's an opportunity for the Orioles to really start to push towards not just 1 year of postseason contention, but repeated postseason contention. I genuinely believe that this young core of offensive players that they're putting together is really going to give Baltimore an opportunity to put themselves in a very successful position over the next coming couple of seasons. Now, as we break down the divisional ranking prediction, we have an article on laracuenteledger.com and a video here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast in which we said that the Orioles would finish in third place. Now, that may seem like a stretch to be finishing over teams like Tampa Bay that are consistently a postseason contender, but I think that Baltimore and their young core of players that they have coming up this year are really going to put themselves in a very good position. The reinfusion of John Means in the second half of the season is going to give Baltimore a true ace starting pitcher without having to give anything up. There's going to be a lot of difficulty along the way. There's going to be a lot of battle along the way because the American League East is a difficult division to be a part of. But I think that for Baltimore this season is going to be a breakout season. Now, when it comes to grading out the pitching staff, right now it is a D. It is a below average grade. But I think that the infusion of getting John Means back, I think that Baltimore will also be a bit more aggressive at the trading deadline this season than what they were last season or even necessarily this offseason. I think that for Baltimore, they're going to want to wait to see exactly how some things shake out with their young stars, with Gunnar Henderson coming up, with Adley Rutschman for a full season. I think that once they see where they're headed, the direction that they're headed, they're going to be able to add more to the starting pitching staff. Right now, as it's presently constructed, it is below average, but I think that there is room for improvement. Now, when we look at the offense, it is a C+ grade. I think that it is slightly above average and going to get better. I think that we have to see how Gunnar Henderson turns out. I think the full season of Adley Rutschman is really going to put the Orioles in a very good position to succeed. I also think that there's going to be some opportunities for some of these guys like an Anthony Santander, like a Ryan Mountcastle, to really be able to get into a position where they can start to put things together, start to put their at-bats together in such a way that Baltimore becomes a very successful offensive team. Yes, the field has been changed. It's been moved. So it is a much more difficult park to hit in if you're a right-handed batter. But I do believe that Baltimore is going to be able to figure out a balance, to be able to figure out exactly what needs to be done in that ballpark to be able to be successful offensively. Now, as we grade out the offseason, it is a D+ grade. I think that it is slightly below average. I think that for Baltimore, the addition of Kyle Gibson is very good. I also think that bringing in James McCann and Adam Frazier could really help this team in the long run. But when you are only adding these small incremental pieces that are going to be complementary pieces to your young core, there's still a lot to be desired. As I said, when just grading out the pitching staff, that is really where the necessity was for Baltimore to really do more and invest more this offseason. They did not do that, and I think that there's an opportunity that they're going to try to see what they have in-house first and then go from there. If Baltimore goes into this season, into the trading deadline, and acquires more pitching help, I think that they can be a much better and much more competitive team in the long run. But I also think that when you look at just what they did this offseason, there are things to like about it, but overall, it was not enough that was done. And as we grade out the franchise as a whole, it is a C+ grade. I think that for Baltimore, there's a lot to like. There's pieces, the foundation has been built, and it is being built up right now for the 2023 season. I also think that there is an opportunity that Baltimore can get a little bit more aggressive on the financial end, acquiring some players at the trade deadline to really boost their opportunity and their chances to make the postseason. Baltimore was very, very close at the end of the 2022 season to the postseason. They were able to really go on a tear once Adley Rutschman got brought up. And I think that with this Gunnar Henderson getting the opportunity now this season to go in conjunction with Adley Rutschman, Baltimore is going to be a much more competitive team than what we've seen in the last couple of seasons. So I think that for this franchise, it is going to be slightly above average with the opportunity to get very, very good. But I want to hear from you. Let me know, Orioles fans, what are your thoughts, your feelings on the Orioles and their chances in 2023? Let me know how you're feeling about your young players getting ready to come up, guys like Gunnar Henderson, over the next coming couple of seasons, Jackson Holiday. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on that down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, where we can keep the conversation rolling. If you want to show more support for us, head over to our other social media channels on Instagram and TikTok at Baseball Banter Broadcast. You can also follow our website, laracuenteledger.com, where we have a corresponding article, like I said, on this video, as well as many other topics in the world of Major League Baseball, as well as other areas and genres altogether. I also want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button. It does a huge service as we continue to try to grow this baseball community. It is a lot of our audience has not yet subscribed to this channel. So if you haven't, hit the subscribe button and the bell for post notifications. If you want to show more support, head over to our merchandise shop, baseballbanterbroadcast.com, where we have a ton of promo codes you can use to save on some banter merch. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast listening platform, I thank you for joining me. Leave a 5-star rating and review, as it does help us continue to move up the algorithm that allows us to continue to grow this baseball community. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next broadcast when we banter about baseball. Peace.